Hey guys, what's going on? So today I'm excited because today I'm going to be doing a review on these new roofer boots that I got from Thorogood. These are called the Thorogood boots in Indigo Chrome Excel. This video sort of marks a milestone for me in my boot blogging career. After my first Thorogood video, the marketing and sales manager for Thorogood actually reached out to me on Instagram, and he offered to have a chat with me about these boots. I came to find out that he actually designed this style of roofer boot here. He basically said that he's been working on the Thorogood 1892 collection for 10 years now. He said that he's utilized patterns that have been in the Weinbrenner shoe archive since the 1930s. And he said that if I ever wanted to talk boots, to let him know. Now, obviously, my mind was blown because I've never had that sort of personal contact with people that are actually making boots. And I just thought, wow, this is such an honor. Obviously, I thanked him profusely for the opportunity to be able to actually talk about boots because I'm just an amateur, I'm a consumer, I'm not an expert in boots, I'm just a lover of boots, and I like to talk about boots. He was kind enough to entertain me. I called him up and we had a real good conversation. He basically gave me the lowdown of the company's history and his personal journey with the company. So the first thing that he talked to me about was this Thorogood heritage line is his passion. The Thorogood work boot industry, it's what keeps the company running. He said that the heritage line, though, on the other hand, it's him having fun. It's him making boots that he wants to make and wants to wear himself. And I thought that was really cool because that really resonated with me. There is a difference between a work boot and a lifestyle boot, and these are definitely lifestyle boots. I have work boots and I work in them, and to be honest, I don't love them. I use them as a tool, I beat the crap out of them. But in my lifestyle boots, you know, when I'm going out, when I'm doing things, when I'm traveling, when I'm actually enjoying my life, these are the things that I reach for to wear. Their purpose is to complement your lifestyle. What I also didn't know was how each model in the Thorogood heritage line is named after a city in Wisconsin that was established in the 1800s. These roofer style boots, these are called the Portage boots. There's another style, it's called I pronounced it Belwatt in my last video. It's actually pronounced Beloit, and that's also a town in Wisconsin, established in the 1800s. The Beloit is a plain toe model, and then there's the Dodgeville, which is a cap toe model. Dodgeville's also a town in Wisconsin. Really cool heritage there. He really added a lot of complexity and thought to this line of heritage boots, and I really appreciate that. I think that is so cool that everything down to the name of these boots was considered. And it's not just the name. I talked to him a lot about the design of the boots, specifically the roofers, because these are the ones that I love. I think Thorogood does the roofers the best. What he told me was, and this is interesting, the roofer boot has multiple layers to protect against wear and scraping on the roof, which is where these layers come into play. So you have this outer layer. This outer layer lays atop another layer. This pair doesn't have the rivets, but on the Desert Sand model, the brass rivets along the side serve as additional protection against the scraping from the shingles. If you think about it, like the rivets would protect from scraping first, and then you would get down to the first layer of leather and then the next layer of leather. Roofers from the early 1900s era, they'd wear their work boots on the roofs. What would end up happening is after a few months, they would actually wear through the top layer of leather, exposing their foot. That's obviously a problem. So to counteract that, that's why they started putting these additional layers on top to give more of a shielding against the scraping. Obviously, that would make for a much better roofing boot if it can withstand a lot of scraping. Their foot rests on the shingles there. You're basically exposing your boot to sandpaper grit all day long. Obviously, it's going to wear through that leather. This is the protection against that. The design of the roofer is made to accommodate different foot widths. So basically, back in the day, the way that he explained it was there weren't half sizes and there weren't wide widths for boots. Normally your boot is in a D width and then it goes up to E width. Basically the design of these is to accommodate all foot widths, and what that means is each one of these side flaps could basically be tightened according to your foot's width, sort of like a corset. The same way that you would tighten a corset, not that I have any experience with that. This is a similar thing in that if you have a narrow foot, you just pull the laces tighter. If you have a wider foot, you just relax these laces and relax the flaps, and that allows for a wider foot to fit in there. So it's kind of a way to custom fit your boots every time you put them on, if you want to think of it like that. And he incorporated all these features from early archives of early boot models. It doesn't get any better than that. I mean, this guy did his research. What he delivers is the end product is just a beautiful boot with a lot of heritage and a lot of history and a lot of complexity behind it. So, this was really cool. I talked about this in my last video, how this specific model, I've seen it referred to as a roofer boot, I've seen it referred to as a monkey boot. I never knew the story behind it. Well, he told me the story. So apparently the term monkey boot came after the term roofer boot. Apparently the Japanese would see roofers, American roofers, climbing up and down ladders and on roofs wearing these boots. And because they were climbing like that, they started referring to them as monkey boots because the guys wearing these boots looked like monkeys climbing. From that point on, the term just took off and caught on, and to this day, you see this style of boot referred to as the monkey boot. So, this was really cool. When he was a child, his grandfather had one pair of plain toe boots that he wore for over 30 years. He'd work in them, he would take them out dancing on Saturday nights, and then he would wear them to church on Sundays. He always admired that about his grandfather, in that his grandfather had one solid quality pair of boots that he would really take good care of, and in turn they took care of him. And I think as a boot collector myself, that's what resonates with me the most. It's not the materialism behind it, it's the lifestyle behind it and the story that you build with the boots. I think that's the best part, the sentiments. I've talked about this before. I don't consider this materialism if you truly love it. If you truly love this stuff, then it kind of goes deeper than materialism, if that makes sense. What's very interesting about this specific model is, notice the name. This is called Indigo Chrome Excel. And I have other pairs of boots in Navy Chrome Excel. I asked him, I was like, so I have some Aldens in Navy Chrome Excel. The Indigo Chrome Excel looks just a little different compared to the Navy. I asked him, are these dyed with real indigo? And he said, yes. That blew my mind. I thought, that is so cool. These are actually indigo dyed. This isn't Horween's standard Navy Chrome Excel. They take indigo from Cone Denim. Cone Denim is an American denim company. They actually closed up shop from what I knew, but apparently they still have a small operation going on, and they use indigo from that mill to dye this leather, this Indigo Chrome Excel leather. It really makes me appreciate them all that much more. So he also told me about how on the Desert Sand pair that the green stitching that they use is because of the work clothing from the 1930s, it was typically green. So they used the green stitching to complement the work clothing from that era. I asked him how he conditions his roofer boots, and he said that he uses Fiebling's mink oil on his Portage boots. And Fiebling's is a really good company for boot conditioning products. I'll actually read a little bit about the history from the HELM's website because they're really good at this stuff, gathering and synthesizing information for, the modern consumer. So it says, Thorogood is an American work boot brand and the best-known subsidiary of Wisconsin Footwear Company, the Weinbrenner Shoe Company since 1892. Weinbrenner has been at the forefront of work boot and innovation both on and off the job site. The roots of Weinbrenner stretch back to 1855 when German immigrant Peter Weinbrenner set up shop as a shoe cobbler in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Peter's son Albert, though, had an entrepreneur spirit to expand the family name. After a few years of apprenticing under his father, Albert opened a storefront that sold boots and shoes in 1892. His ambitions didn't stop there. In 1900, he purchased a local shoe manufacturer in order to produce his own line. Production started small with a modest 60 pairs produced each day, but grew to a whopping 8,000 pairs per day by 1915. Such expansion came at a cost. Weinbrenner moved to bigger factories to increase output. His workers demanded better working conditions. Weinbrenner capitulated and reduced the standard workday from 10 to 9 hours without reducing pay. The workers met the offer and production maintained at the same levels despite less time. Weinbrenner debuted the Thorogood line of work boots in 1918. The philosophy behind the brand was simple but radical at the time. Every job had specific demands and environments, so every job needed its own specialized footwear to match. Thorogood produced specially designed footwear for miners, oil workers, rail workers, and even one designed for American troops in World War I. Thorogood was an instant success, and Weinbrenner continued to expand and innovate, creating new advances like the first safety-toed work boot in 1943. Today, Weinbrenner and Thorogood produce nearly 250 different models of work and safety boots. The company is still based out of their founding home of Wisconsin, but have moved slightly further north to the city of Merrill. Weinbrenner is also the largest manufacturer of made-in-USA footwear, with the majority of their production coming from two company-owned factories in Merrill and Marshfield, Wisconsin. Nearly all of their products bear a small woven made-in-USA flag stitched into the seam between the vamp and the front quarter, and the Thorogood logo branded on the heel. Despite their job-specific applications, Thorogood boots are also worn casually and available in many major retailers. The majority of their offerings are constructed with a wedge sole, 360-degree storm welt for increased waterproofing, fiberglass shank, cork molding layer, synthetic EVA footbed, triple stitched upper. The roofer boot was introduced in 1950 and has remained pretty much unchanged ever since. Roofing required a shoe with grip that maintained rigidity throughout the foot, hence the extended laces that go all of the way to the front of the boot. This design also shifted the rest of the design forward, so the vamp extends throughout the entire shoe. That large of a piece of leather, however, left it more exposed and vulnerable to damage, so Thorogood included a double layer of leather that's triple stitched and reinforced with rivets. That's what I'm talking about, how it's built with the extra layers to protect roofers while they're roofing, while they're doing roof stuff. I'm still trying to process how cool it was to actually talk to a real boot maker, a real boot designer, a guy behind the scenes that's doing all kinds of cool stuff and delivering to us consumers just amazing products. Yeah, so this specific pair came with a neo cork sole, oil resistant cork. I like these because they're flat, and Mr. Thorogood himself, he said that the reason why workmen love flat boots like this is because you could go outside, you could walk around in the mud, and guess what? You're not going to track mud into the house. Because I've used my Indies before to do some yard work in. I'm not worried about walking in the house after I've stomped through the mud because I know that I'm not bringing any into the house. Contrast that with a commando sole. I mean, good luck getting all the mud out of those. You basically have to get a stick and dig all the dirt and debris out. It's a nightmare. I think that's a really neat feature that ensures that workmen don't have to take their shoes off when they come into a house or when they enter a building. I really love these boots. I really love the look of them. There's several people that I follow on Instagram that also love this roofer style. One of them would be Bothrops. He loves Red Wings, but he also really loves Alden and Thorogood, and he really loves these roofer boots. I've seen him rock these a few times throughout the years. He actually reached out to me when he saw that I started getting a few of these pairs, and he was like, yeah, there's something to these that is special. And I agree. There is something about roofer boots that is just super unique, super cool looking. I love wearing these, and in fact, I don't normally wear navy boots with dark denim, but these look very good with some dark denim. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know that I definitely had a good time making it. I'm still trying to get over what an honor it was to actually talk to a real boot maker. That was really cool. I hope to get some more of that in the future. Anyways, I am on Instagram. If you want to follow me there, you can track how these patina over time. My username is AeroSurferLV. And thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video.